Hi everyone, welcome to the 3rd out of 5 discussions about the films in the program of Korean Film Week with the theme A Century of Korean Women, hosted by the Embassy of Republic of Korea and its Cultural Department. Thank you all who are interested in this film and have decided to watch this panel, and thank you those who are here today taking part in this discussion. First, we have Alexandra Schiefert, a lecturer at the University of Vienna Department of Korean Studies. Then we have 3 students of Korean Studies joining us, Maša Žekš from the University of Ljubljana in Slovenia. Then we have Sayuri Seneviratne from the University of Vienna in Austria. And then we have Filippo Raspanti from the University of Vienna in Austria. I'm Sanja Struna, I'm a film critic from Slovenia, and I specialize in Korean cinema. The film that we'll talk about today is an adaptation of a Japanese manga directed by Im Sun-rye, Little Forest.
Yes.
Alex?
Yes, thank you. There aren't many stories like Little Forest out there. It's a very simple story. There are no big dramas, no overly complicated storylines, and certainly no crazy plot twists. It's simple and easy, and watching this movie, you just cannot deny the soothing, healing power this movie has. So a bit about Im Sun-rye. She was born in Incheon and is one of the few, fortunately, leading female directors of the Korean New Wave. She graduated from Hanyang University with an MA in theater and film and received her master's degree in film studies from the Paris University. Upon her return to Korea, she worked as an assistant director. When asked about how the idea of Little Forest came about, she explained how she was intrigued by the subject matter and how she wanted to produce a low-budget movie that would speak to Korea's younger generation. The movie plays around the themes of wants and needs. The female protagonist, Hye-won, who is portrayed by Kim Tae-ri, longs for a life in the big city while still living in the village. However, once she sets foot in Seoul, she realizes, the big city isn't exactly what she dreamed of, hence her return to the village. However, she seems a bit hesitant about telling her relatives and friends that she's back.
Yes, and cooking reflects the heart. I'm hungry. These 2 perfectly simple statements in this understated film encapsulate the yearning that Hye-won feels for her mother, for a safe place where life would not be so difficult. Relationship between Hye-won and her mother is at the heart of Little Forest. The home that Hye-won returns to after failing her exam, and with it, her attempt at life at Seoul, is a sanctuary that her mother built for her. So we do not know a lot of the backstory of the mother, just that she was a big city girl who moved to the country after Hye-won's father got ill and then passed away. There are mere glimpses that let us know that she did leave things behind, unfinished things that she promptly disappears off to pursue as soon as Hye-won is a legal adult and done with her basic education. What once seemed to be an idyllic mother-daughter, us against the world type of relationship is now a constant thorn in Hye-won's heart. The importance of working through this relationship in her own heart and mind is emphasized with the fact that we follow Hye-won's own growth. As we follow it, it's interwoven with flashbacks to the past and moments with her mother. Cooking is what connects the 2 and symbolizes the knowledge that her mother ensured that Hye-won had before she left. And so are the postcards that still connect the 2 in the present, and the house, which is the Little Forest, which stands as a perpetual promise that at some point there will be a proper shared home once again.
Yes, what I also want to add is that in terms of food and hunger, something that I noticed while watching the movie is that it shows us that food brings people together. And there is always a contrast between the city life and the countryside and how food was regarded. In the film, we can see how in Seoul, the food the protagonist ate was fast food. So the kind of food that represents the fast-paced life in the city. And she was often alone and didn't enjoy her food with other people. Whereas to the countryside, she shared a lot of valuable moments with her friends while enjoying self-made meals. It is interesting to see how food brings people together, and especially if people cook it together and afterwards enjoy the dishes they make. And it's also worth mentioning that her friends in the countryside really appreciated the food that she made, whereas the people in the city did the opposite and made fun of it rather than really appreciating it.
Yeah, thank you, Sadi, for the point. I feel also that this movie sort of portrays Korean culture very well through food, and the food did look very delicious, and I bet there are some nice recipes in there. Anyways, I would like to point out something sort of related to your point as well, which is that the movie offers an alternative way of living, like an alternative lifestyle, which could be interpreted as a critique of a competitive society such as there is in South Korea. For the protagonist, opportunities and soul exist. However, we discover throughout the film that her pursuit of happiness and personal growth sort of like doesn't really lie in the hectic, often superficial metropole. However, instead we see her and she goes back to the place where she was raised and where she grew up, and we see that she experiences a slower, more sustainable and healthier alternative to soul. The movie illustrates the intimate relationship between the protagonist and the nature, and also respecting of nature, which are all points that normally rather are maybe disregarded in a big metropole. Now, the minimalist lifestyle portrayed in the movie, however, also redefines an often unhealthy set of values. So what the movie does, it suggests defying materialistic values and showing a more intrinsic approach to life, and therefore, to my mind, making it more important than ever. Yeah.
I would like to add how time is thoughtfully depicted and seasons are represented through agriculture, since the protagonist grows most of the food by herself. So the audience can pay attention to that as well. And maybe also an interesting thing is how we witness very good friendship without any significant emphasis on romantic relationships. I think this is kind of refreshing.
Very true. And there's something else I want to say. Like you might have seen it, but most of the dishes, or all of the dishes actually, are deliberately vegetable based, and that is because director Yim is actually a pescatarian herself. She only eats.
Yeah. In an interview, Yim said that she divided the 16 dishes that are featured in the film into 3 groups. Dishes related to the memories of Hyewon's mother, the dishes that Hyewon could prepare with the produce that she herself grew, and dishes that reflected on the mood of the moment, like eating the spicy tteokbokki when Eun-seok felt sad. And also that particular moment was actually personal to the director because she based it on the memory of her own mother. And with that, we've reached the end of this discussion. A big thank you to everyone here and to our viewers. In case you haven't watched them yet and want to know more, there are other discussion videos for other films as well, and you're most welcome to watch them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.